Hello and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Jess with us. She's got very interesting career because she's a coach, and she's also got her own system on how to help clients. And then on top of that, she's just releasing a book, and she's also got very interesting sort of history because she's been DJing since for quite some time. So, Jess, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Tony. Well, I'm Jessica Ellen. I'm a hypnotherapist and mindset coach, and I mostly help women get out of survival mode and help them to feel more empowered and reinvent themselves. So, I've been doing this for about 7 years now, alongside DJing, like you mentioned, which I've been doing for a lot longer. That's been 16, 17 years now. So, yeah, it's been a roller coaster, but it's been really exciting.
Excellent. Yeah. So what actually inspired you to go into coaching from DJing?
So for me, once I had my son about 10 years ago, I really, I guess, suffered from a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and I was struggling a lot with chronic disease and pain at the same time. So for me, having a kid that also didn't sleep, he was sick all the time. I didn't have the energy to go back into DJing, and I felt like I'd lost myself anyway. So for me, it took me a few years to actually feel like it was okay to get help. And I tried doctors, I tried psychologists, I tried all of the usual ways you go to deal with anxiety and depression, and none of it helped me. It all made me feel worse instead of better. The medication just made me feel numb, and I knew that wasn't the way forward. So I ended up stumbling upon hypnotherapy and NLP. And I thought, you know what? Like, if I try this and it works, then this could be something else because I did study psychology a while back before my DJ career kicked off. And then I decided I'm just going to be a DJ. So I didn't follow that path.
Hmm.
So, anyway, um, I did the therapy, and instead of it taking years, like with psychology, I was seeing huge results within days and weeks. And I decided, you know what? This is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing. And I studied and started from there, and I've never looked back.
Totally, yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And, it brings up a lot of memories on my side as well because I have two little young boys, who are just like one is few months old, another one is like couple of years old. And yeah, exactly the same thing like you mentioned. Obviously, if people are telling me, oh, if people told me, oh, don't do it, don't get kids because of all these things, you're not gonna sleep, you're gonna go into depression, things like that. I mean,
Mm.
but then the flip coin as well is that it's you love them so much, it's just like another level of everything, that I experience. So it's well worth it, going for anyone watching us thinking about having kids and stuff. Like it's definitely well worth it having
Mm.
kids, even with all these issues and challenges that you're going to go through. But then on top of that, I went through a similar situation like you. I took a long time until I was actually asking for help before when I had those issues that you mentioned as well. And
Yeah.
anyone watching us, if you sort of like suffer from anxiety, from anything like that, please ask for help. It's totally okay. It's totally okay. So,
Mm.
so tell us a little bit about, like, first, how did you make that decision that it's okay to ask for help, please?
For me, I just hit rock bottom. I was at the point where my anxiety was so bad I couldn't leave the house anymore without a panic attack. I couldn't even really check my phone if a notification went off without going into panic mode. And I was just overwhelmed with shame around how I was feeling and how I was behaving. I wasn't showing up as the mum I really wanted to be. And I was a stay-at-home mum at this point too. So I felt like it was my job and my job alone to shape this little person, and I thought I was failing.
Okay.
And the only reason I didn't throw in the towel completely was just purely the guilt of leaving him behind. So at that stage, I figured, well, it can't get any worse. I need to try something because otherwise, I don't know if I can survive how we're going right now.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
took,
absolutely. And then you mentioned something that I also experienced because I've been sort of coaching since 2011 when I finished my master's in NLP and hypnosis as well. So and I also results really very quickly compared to everything else. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how was your experience seeing those results, those changes so quickly?
Mm,
And you already tried all these different things as you mentioned, and it took such a long time, and you didn't really get as much results. Yeah. So tell us a little bit
yeah.
about that, please.
It was mind blowing. It was like I was able to let a breath go I'd been holding on to for years. I could finally exhale. The pressure just dropped. And for the first time in years, I felt like change was possible.
Hmm.
And I didn't expect much. Going in, I was so skeptical. I was like, is this going to even work for me? I've got all of these walls up. I know I've got all of these walls up. Talking doesn't work. Psychologists haven't been able to do it, and they're the professionals.
Yeah.
So, if that doesn't work, is this really going to work? But once doing hypnotherapy, as you know, it helps to work just with that unconscious mind and it helps to get past those barriers in the easiest, nicest, most blissful way possible.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was just nothing like I'd ever experienced before. It was just bliss.
Okay, yeah, and then how that transformation happened from obviously you started seeing your own results, you actually
Mhm.
started feeling much better and stuff. How did you decide then to go into like, oh, I want to help others with this?
Yeah, because I've been in mums groups on Facebook, and there's a lot of women that would, talk about their own anxiety, their own depression, how they're feeling overwhelmed and like they can't cope, and they really want help. And they were in the same boat as I was. They were seeing doctors, they were on medications, but they were getting worse as well instead of better. And I thought, well, if this has worked for me, why can't it work for them? I already have an understanding of how it all works. It feels really good to be doing it as a coach and as a client. And I also need an income because at that point, the relationship I was in was so toxic. I was looking for a way out, but I had no money because I wasn't working. So I did also see it as an opportunity to earn money from home, doing something that I knew would make a big impact at the same time. So it would give me that purpose as well as the income.
Totally, yeah. And so you started working with clients, and then obviously you build up your own
Mm.
technique now, yeah, or system. Tell us a little bit about that. How do you use that to help clients?
Yeah, so it's called the Raw Integration Method, and it stands for Release, Overcome, Awaken, and Rise. So it's a four-part process that I take my clients through. And it's also what I base a lot of my bigger programs around. So, for example, the first big session or the first month, if it's a group program, is focused on release. So, it's about releasing all those negative beliefs, releasing all of the things that are really holding you back, letting go of that, heavy depression or an anxiety, whatever it might be, just clearing the slate, like doing a big spring clean of the mind. Then the next phase is overcome. So then we go through and work on any self-sabotage that's popping up at this point. Because as you know, once you clear out all of the big things, you feel like everything's good, but then life happens. And if your values aren't aligned, if there's still some other things that have been hiding under the guilt or hiding under the anger or sadness, we deal with those at that stage. Then we go into Awaken, and especially when I work with women, it's more about getting back in tune with your body. And it works with men too, of course, but it's about working with the body instead of waging war against it. So instead of seeing pain as an enemy, it's seeing it as a messenger, and it's understanding that your body is constantly trying to communicate with you with all of the symptoms and pains and other nudges that you get to help you move forward. And then the last stage being rise is when we bring it all together. And then it's more about the forward momentum. It's about goal setting. It's about working out who you are now in the world, now that you've let all of that go. It's rebuilding that identity and also just really affirming what they want to do moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, sounds definitely like a powerful program because you got all the steps covered, and this is what I've seen as well. Like a lot of people sort of go through coaching, and then they see some breakthroughs, they see some changes, they get these fantastic experiences, and they're like, yeah, that's it, I'm done. Now I can,
Yeah.
just like now I can just continue, like rolling like this. But then,
Mm.
as you said, life happens. Then you have all these experiences where the old identity tries to kick in and stuff. So you have it all covered with your program. Very, very well done. Congratulations on that. So what are the typical results your clients are getting once they are working with you?
Oh, it's so amazing to witness just how much people change, especially like I said, the women that are really struggling and they've just lost hope. I've got one client, I won't mention her name. I'll call her Kay. She started with me a year ago. And when she started with me, she'd already been seeing a psychologist for about 5 years to help deal with her anxiety, her childhood trauma, and her abandonment issues. And she was also an alcoholic at this point and abusing other substances. And she'd just pretty much given up. She's like, look, I'll work with you, but I don't have much hope. I'm doing this because my friend told me I should work with you and see how it goes. So I didn't really have too much of a hope for her at that stage, only because she was being told to see me. I love it when people approach me because they're ready to do the work, not because they're told they need to do the work. But
Yes.
anyway, with her, I did a one-on-one breakthrough session, and that's when I spend a whole day with someone. So we really dig deep and we put together all of their past, we work out their patterns, and we do a big spring clean. Fast forward to the end of that week, she was a completely different person. After our first session, she didn't drink again. She didn't feel anxious again until maybe 6 months later when she got re-triggered into some old stuff, but we dealt with that really quickly. She noticed that she was actually in an abusive relationship and she made steps to leave over the coming months in a safe way. She changed her career. She got a new job. She bought a house. She felt safe within herself for the first time ever. She'd never experienced that feeling of safety growing up in a tumultuous, traumatic childhood environment. And it's so good to see her now just flourishing. She's just going out and achieving more and more. And I do have sessions with her still, but they're now forward momentum sessions. They're more about what's the next goal we can hit? What's the next thing we can do? What can we achieve next to make your life even better? And we have those check-ins. She's also in my free group, Together We Roar, which I set up for women that just want the help but can't necessarily afford it, or they're just really looking for a supportive community. I offer free coaching in there for them. But she's my favorite. I know I shouldn't have favorites, but she's my favorite. Just she's gone from such a dark place to something just polar opposite. She's amazing. And she's just one of many.
Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful to see this type of results from clients, and yeah. So tell us a little bit about the book that is coming out.
Yes. So Raw Forward is the title, and it's all based around the raw integration method. So I've set it up into 4 different sections, and in each section, we go through some of my own personal experience of what I've dealt with in each of these stages in my own healing journey. We go through some learnings and, what it means to be dealing with self-sabotage, for example, or what it's like having imposter syndrome and how to deal with that. dealing with fears, dealing with limiting beliefs, working out your values, getting into alignment. And there's a bunch of different tools and techniques for every single section that they can implement as they're reading and as they're moving through the process with the book. So they can essentially kickstart their own journey from start to finish and really see some changes by the time they get to the end.
Great. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like very interesting book. I would like to also have a read. And on top of that, like if people want to actually get the book, connect to you, or find out a little bit more about you, how they can do that.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. They can just email me if they
Mhm.
want to. I love having a chat.
Yeah.
So if they want, they can email me at jessicaellen.coaching@gmail.com. I'll also send you, Tony, the link to my group. So if any women want to join that free coaching group, they're more than welcome. But yeah, I'll add all of my socials there for you as well. On Instagram, I'm at holistic.hypnocoach. So nice and easy to remember. But yeah, just reach out on any of the platforms you can find me on. Mention that you heard me with Tony, and I will get you to where you need to be.
Fantastic. Okay, Jess, thanks a lot. And anyone watching us, I'll share those links in the description of this episode so you can check the links there. And then on top of that, Jess, thank you so much for being a guest, for sharing your story, for, sharing your wisdom with us as well. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like, subscribe, and also and if you have any questions for Jess and me, you can ask them in the comments. And see you all in the next episode. All the best and bye bye.
Thank you so much.